I'll show you a little trick here to do two at once. You can just do a half hitch on the one that's going to be above the last one, because when the last one is pulling down and the rope is pulling up, then it's going to bite. See, this is like some kind of a little bit on the darker side of pro rigging. Some people will absolutely hate this, and more than that, they'll hate that I'm showing it. So there's the first one. So watch how this looks when it comes off. See that? Let's take a look at that together now. Because of all the weight of the first one pulling down on the bite, and the fact that I'm holding it up using the same amount of weight of all of it together to stop it from going down, creates a very tight choke right here, which keeps that locked in. This is my tree for this morning. Gnarly. Lightning strike. They don't want collateral damage out there in the woods. And there's a fence under me. So I'll have to get this stuff up on the driveway. Yeah, it's here. I just don't know if we have any Speedline kit here. I have a few on my harness. I got a pop quiz for you, Hosanna. Okay. What do you think is going to be the most important thing right here on this road by the chipper? What's going to be the most important thing to keep me safe? You got this here, and what else is down there? The wood chipper. So if you got my rope tangled in the wood chipper, what happens to me? You're coming down. Yeah, I'm a goner. So if you get anything tangled in my rope, don't keep dragging it toward the chipper, even if you know it's tangled. Because I won't know, because you don't have the helmet communication on. I won't know that you know that you're going to untangle it before you chip it. So if you see something tangled, take the time to get my rope well out of it before you move it toward the chipper. Okay. Make sure if you stick anything in the chipper, that it's not going to like swing over and grab my rope. Thank you. I'm using the little Echo battery saw again today. It's my favorite little saw for the things that it's not too small for. And I put the new Sumara Panther bar, high quality bar. This is a 14-inch. The saw comes with a 12. But because I've got the narrow kerf Panther chain, I can get away with a little bit longer bar, and it's been working nice. It's like a little scalpel. Yeah, pretty quick here. These limbs are, this is a little big and green. See me manhandling. By the way, some of the more dangerous trees in the world are not the totally dead ones. They're the ones that are decayed somewhere in the stem or at the base or in the roots, and they still have all this big heavy weight on them. Big green weight above decay is oftentimes much more dangerous than dried out wood that weighs less and stops less wind. Just something to think about. I'm not saying I'm scared or worried about this, because the more I go, the more I'm gonna be cutting off of this. Whenever I'm not cutting, that's the time to come in and grab it and start throwing it in the chipper mouth. Still dealing with training up the noob. Yeah, that's big and long and heavy, so I don't feel like trying to manhandle that. Cut some of this stuff off along the way that I don't need to rig, like this one. Bring that rope bag over here. Take my rope and go like this. You're just gonna make a little loop, see? And then tie that other rope onto it. Just the end of it. So far, so good. Nope, gotta tie it on better than that. Almost made it.
A few moments later, a few minutes later.
That'll work. I'll show you how we like it another time, but that works. I'll do the lowering on this. All you're gonna have to do is unhook it. So, audience, if you wanna see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 Speedline slings. That's all I have with me today. So I put one out there to kind of redirect the drop zone a little bit. So now I can put this right in the drop zone for her to unhook. You can take it all the way to the chipper while it's light like this. You don't have to feed it tip first. You can take the tip that way. Take the tip of the limb that way. And now we're holding the weight of the butt, so take the butt that way. Just making it easier for her. She doesn't understand though. She doesn't know why and what for, but she'll learn with practice maybe. This big long limb here is gonna wanna hang up in there. So when I get down here, I'm gonna cut it on the side and try to get it to walk this way before it comes off. She's having a lot of struggle untying that knot, so maybe I'll put a snap on it. So if you hook it out like this a little bit, or you can kind of support it from above. Basic rigging stuff here. Nothing profound. Now remember what I was talking about, how it was going to want to hang up there. Well, this way I'm gonna get to walk it right around here. I'll snip it a little here and by holding it up with this. Thing to be concerned with when you're doing this though is when you're hooking out here, you can get this big stabbing back effect and impale yourself if you don't do it right. So a lot of times I'll keep the stem of the tree between me and the impale. Wasn't that cool? No, no. Grab it up higher so that you can take the butt toward the chipper. Yeah, yeah. There you go. Look at that magic. All the little things. See how that one is tangled on the rope there? You got 2 ropes to worry about now. Okay, now I'm gonna let you run that stuff through. Okay, and I'm gonna wait. And I want you to watch these ropes while you run that stuff. Okay? Headache? Yep. Good. Good. See how they're shaped like a shaped like a boat? If you put the bow of the boat down, then it'll just rock right into there. Keyword bow. So YouTube, you see that out there, that redirect, that's keeping it over the road better because the tree kind of leans out over the ditch. So that's for her benefit down there. All of this, taking my time and letting her process it as we go, is all about kindness and I don't know, it's just another way to do it, and I approve of it today. Sometimes I'll just make a big unholy mess and tear it apart later, but not today. I'll show you what I did in a minute. This one I don't have to rig because it's right over the road, but I do want it to fall flat and not hinge and swing under and end up over there. So I'm going to go like this. This next one leans out over that stuff, so I'll do this one with the rope. So what I've done, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a little redirect right there to get it out over the road, because right now, if I didn't, it would be right here, which would just give her more work to do. I'll show you a little trick here to do two at once. You can just do a half hitch on the one that's going to be above the last one, because when the last one is pulling down and the rope is pulling up, then it's going to bite. See, this is like some kind of a little bit on the darker side of pro rigging. Some people will absolutely hate this, and more than that, they'll hate that I'm showing it, because that half hitch, it relies on the gravity of this one pulling down on it, and it relies on the tension from the top side going up to hold the bite. So what can happen is, if you tangled this one up on the way down and it stopped pulling down, then you could cause that eye to enlarge and the piece could fall out. So there are those who say never ever, and I say don't do it if that's gonna happen. So there's the first one. So watch how this looks when it comes off. See that? Let's take a look at that together now. Because of all the weight of the first one pulling down on the bite, and the fact that I'm holding it up using the same amount of weight of all of it together to stop it from going down, creates a very tight choke right here, which keeps that locked in. But it's just a half hitch, and so I'm technically evil for doing it or showing it to you, according to some. Because if you had any sort of potential for the first one we cut to like hang up on something and go weightless, that could open up the hitch and it could drop out. So if there was a, you know, grandma's china under there, you'd want a more secure connection. Stuff I'm showing you is stuff that can be done most of the time on a, especially a job like this. Just saying, it's just information, right? This ain't the dark web. Good, very good. Hosanna, after you unhook that, keep an eye on your ropes and go ahead and run it through and I'll wait. This one's out over the road. I could just drop it, but she's finding them a bit too heavy. So if I rig it, I can carry part of the weight of it as she moves it out into the chipper. Yeah, if I just dropped that out here where it would have landed out there, it would have... They're big, they're heavy for her. So look how easy that was for her. Good. Good job. That's right. It's fun to do these where you're doing the cutting and the rigging yourself. In other words, I'm controlling the rope. I like doing it because I know what I want. I know when I want it to run and stuff. There's brilliant ground guys for that. But when you don't have them schooled up in that, like now, then it's pretty nice for me to do that dark method. I cut with the left hand and rig with the right, run the rope with the right. This time I'll be rigging with the left hand, cutting with the right. Ambidextrous. I'll do 2 more and then I'll let you chip. So move out of the ways. So I've cut off the jib that I had out here, so now what I'll try to do is get it to go way out there by letting it run at the opportune time. Hopefully I don't have too much friction up there on that natural crotch. Pretty good. Pretty good. It's very satisfying to do the cut and the rope and have it just... I have just the right friction up there so that I don't burn my hands down here, which is something you should know about. here a long time, so I've been really patient, just waiting on her to do it. Just how you like it. The baby is doing awesome. The baby is, well, feel sorry for Heather because she's the only one that he wants. So that means she's busy like all the time with him. And he needs a lot of attention because he is entirely 100% helpless. All right, I'm gonna flop a few more out. Here they come. Behind the back. Behind the back. With sound effects. Cut and catch, redirect. So this next one, I want it in the road with the butt pointed toward the chipper. So what I'll do is I'll gun it this way, but as it's coming off, I'll scoot the butt over. And the reason I'm doing that instead of just going up the road is because if I go up the road, I'll nuke these little madrones right here, and I think they kind of like the little roadside hedge effect. So see the green things, we don't want to wreck those. We don't want it crossways in the road because I am being a perfectionist, and we want it this way in the road with the butt that way, so as it comes off I'll just give it a little scooteroo, a little getter grabber. Bam. Yeah, nice placement. Yeah, it has an odd wobble to it. Like,
I think that's because so much of the core is rotted out. Like, you have this stuff that's like a little more sound. This in here, nasty.
a couple times it moved and it was just moving too much of the stem.
Yeah.
So like it's loose in the ground or something. It wasn't right. Didn't feel right. And I didn't notice it until after I was chunking wood.
Out.
Yeah, the top was gone. All the
Well, that's what I was saying. Like shortly after you sent the top, I was watching you rappel down a little bit, and it was like had one of those like weird wobbles.
Yeah, I didn't feel it until then, till around then. Something funky with it. But I'm glad I'm down here and it's
Still upright.
yeah.
look cool.
Yeah, it had some funky bendy. It didn't bother me at all until, believe it or not, till all the limbs were off and the top was out, and then
Good.
I kind of rocked it a little, and it went like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Don't be like...
It's that twisting rot.
Yeah, it was a strange time to notice it. I had no... Because, well, I had all that dampening.
I was going to say, all the brush was probably just doing...
Yeah. Well, time to go home.
Yep, here's off, son.
I mean, and we just all drive away right now.
Yeah.
Be back tomorrow.
And put a road closed sign on the other side. Just on the other side, though. Yeah, even the wood, like, with how far you undermined it, even the wood on, like, the far side is, like, pretty crappy. There's, like, a strip of live stuff on both sides. Looks like it splintered out back here, too.
Yeah, it splintered clear to the bottom. That's what I was saying. I was feeling an odd wobble to it. Crispy dead madrone. You gotta set your spurs really hard in the dead madrone or they just come out. Little solar panel and things down there that I don't want to destroy. Freestyle.